Live from Cool Boys Central.
You're the boss down there. I'm boss up here.
From bat tips to bat nips, we are just cool boys revisiting Batman, the animated series, and wearing hats. This is Batman and Beyond, a Cool Boys podcast.
I see Batman and Beyond.
Greetings from the border, cool boy,
Ooh,
Bat Nation.
what border?
Close to the border, not just there, almost there. And welcome to another installment of Batman and Beyond,
Whoop, whoop.
a Cool Boys podcast,
Whoop, whoop.
and the last episode of Season 1 production order
Whoop,
of
whoop.
Batman the Animated Series.
Ooh.
I'm Ballard.
And I'm Steve.
Say
When I don't do anything, I'm not your fucking monkey, all right? Piece of shit.
So cool, so cool.
Why are you still on the road? I thought that you were supposed to, go talk to your lawyer and do what I was suggesting.
Which was
The insanity.
Oh yeah,
Go.
plead insanity. Yeah, I didn't find any lawyers, and since I didn't really go back and read your emails, I know you told me to go find the emails.
Can you
and
just search?
I'm too late.
It's just called the fucking search button, dude.
I didn't think about it, but whatever. I mean, like, I'm gonna make it work out. The good news is I found another motel with some great Wi-Fi, and I'm just very close to finishing my trip, and I just have a few steps left essentially.
Well, the Cool Boy Bat Nation could tell that we weren't in the same room and said
Yeah, you were fucking high as fuck last week for some reason. You ate
they
brownies
said
or
they said
cookies? What was
that
it?
the dynamic was off, and it was
Oh, fuck you. Fuck you, Cool Boy Nation.
and
I
it
don't
was
care.
because you weren't here.
My life is way more important right now, and
Let
being
me
free.
read. I have an
Riding,
email.
still
I have an
riding
email
and
from
dying.
Timothy Lane, and he says basically that he's worried. He's worried about us.
I don't have to answer to you, Tim. I don't fucking have to answer to you, Timmy. Fuck you, dude.
He says
Calling, writing in, talking to me
he
about
said
my
something
life.
that I should watch what I say in terms of legal advice, and
Oh shit, really? Well, he's not a lawyer or
You
like
know,
a judge or anybody.
I don't know. It was a little scary. So obviously, though, I was high on drugs.
Are you okay?
And
Well, yeah,
so
why were you?
any sort of legal
you gave me
advice
insanity
that I
advice?
give while high on drugs shouldn't be listened to. And I was very clear from the beginning. I indicated as such. So you should. I wanted to make sure that you talked to your attorney before you did anything that I was suggesting from last time.
I haven't. I haven't, and I'm not going to. I think I'm gonna do this other thing I'm doing, and I think I'm about to do it. And I think it's fucking badass, actually. And I'm pretty stoked. And it's tomorrow. I'm pretty much fucking. I'm staying an extra day just to do this fucking podcast, literally with you. And
I appreciate
and then
that,
tomorrow I'm fucking free.
but I would appreciate more that if you were here in the studio and not because
No.
Timothy said that he could tell.
We might not. That might not ever be in the studio.
What?
Ever again.
What?
Actually,
We paid a lot of money.
tonight's episode is The Worrymen, directed by Frank Parr
Woo!
and written by Paul Dano.
Actually, that's where I meant to go. Woo! Did you say Dano?
What?
What did you say?
Paul Dini.
Yeah.
Paul Dano. Did I say Paul Dano?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you said Dano.
Paul Dano. Sorry, Paul Dini. Paul Dini. Paul Dini.
Yeah.
The
Doing a didn't Paul Dini?
Can you imagine young Paul Dano writing this episode, like just blowing everyone away? Like, wow, Paul Dano is gonna be talented someday.
Mm-hmm.
This episode came out on September 16th, 1993, and this week's villain is, spoiler alert, the Mad Hatter.
Yeah, big spoiler alert.
Wikipedia says, wealthy socialite Veronica Vreeland returns from Central America, bringing tiny handmade dolls for all her friends.
So
What?
there's like a lot of issues going on in the lot of class sort of and like colonial issues that I see being raised in this episode.
Oh, for sure. Well, they definitely should be. According to native legend, once placed under a pillow, the dolls do the sleepers' worrying for them, unknown to Veronica or her guests. Each of the dolls was made by the Mad Hatter, spoiler alert, and contains a tiny microchip which plants hypnotic suggestions inside the sleeper's brains. Wow. Lots of spoilers there.
Mm-hmm.
So the Mad Hatter episodes are fairly spoilery, huh? They're kind of the episode where you don't know who the villain is, and then it's like, oh, guess what? It was the Mad Hatter. I mean, we really haven't had any other villain like that yet, except maybe Two-Face, kind of, in The Shadow of the Bat.
Yeah, well, I guess kind of the last episode that was the dummy, where Batman doesn't know who it is until he investigates it.
Yeah, but that's still revealed in the first act of that episode.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I would have to think hard, and I don't really want to. So I'll go with what you said.
It's fact! Ding, ding, ding!
But I was excited to see that Paul Dini wrote this episode. And
I was more excited when it was Paul Dano originally.
yeah.
Now I'm not so excited anymore. Yeah, no, Paul Dini, at least he's the one that signs off the series, right, for the first season.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of funny that Tim wasn't as involved as Dini was writing-wise, huh?
Uh-huh. I think he was mainly producer and showrunner.
Well, he directed yeah, for sure, and he directed a bunch too. I think one of the big surprises, since we're now at the end and we can just get into it a little bit here, I think one of the big surprises for me was how many influential comic book writers were hired to write episodes.
Oh yeah, I just noticed actually that I have a graphic novel by the writer of the Ra's al Ghul episodes. That is a Ra's al Ghul.
Denny O'Neil?
Yeah, Dennis O'Neil.
Nice.
Or Denny. It's like but it's a Ra's al Ghul graphic novel, and it's by Dennis O'Neil.
Is it the daughter of the demon or whatever it was called? The demon's daughter?
I could go double check. I don't actually remember. It was basically kind of like a retelling of Batman finding Ra's al Ghul and his.
Oh, is it modern? It's not from the 70s.
All right. I'll be right back.
Oh, you're gonna go
I'm
find
gonna
out.
go find out.
All right.
All right, cool boy, Bat Nation. It's called Batman: Birth of the Demon by Dennis O'Neil.
I love Denny.
And it is from 1992.
So it's a retelling of his own story, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Birth of the Demon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
All right, let's actually watch the episode.
So this was interesting because it involved like South American issues. I thought kind of some sort of like, you know, it was interesting that it was like had some sort of like colonial stuff where the Mad Hatter, this Englishman, goes down to South America and then like basically appropriates this guy's like, you know, art and culture to manipulate rich people and steal their money, and then he does so by brainwashing that guy, this shaman, I guess.
Hey, this is a Veronica Vreeland episode, and Veronica Vreeland is back.
I was excited. I you know what, to be honest, that I was really excited to see a old Veronica.
Where's she back from?
Some trip to South America.
No, but she's also back from the episode Birds of a Feather. But yeah, she's back from a trip from South America or Central America, yeah.
Back from, like, making fun of the poor or at a disadvantage.
Yeah, she went somewhere. She's played by Mary Lou Henner. And, of course, right, beautiful Mary Lou Henner. And she's like, she went to South America essentially just to stare at locals and see what they look like. Like,
to
she
appropriate
went to a zoo.
some sort of, fashion.
She went to a wildlife preserve full of, Mexicans. Like, that was horrible. Anyways, she does say, when I was in the jungle, I saw some things that you'd never believe to Bruce Wayne. And I'm wondering to myself, what did she see in the jungle?
Uh-huh.
Did she have some Cannibal Holocaust shit or some Green Inferno-like moments that happened prior to meeting the Mad Hatter? Like, what was it that she went through? Did she have moments where she was, like, kidnapped by tribes, and then, like, her group was eaten, and she's the only one that got away
I think that we need a spin-off series. I think we need some sort of, like, adventures, Veronica Vreeland, the adventures in South America.
Veronica Vreeland's Adventures in South America? It's a great title.
And,
I can't wait to have a show like that.
It would just all be about what she did, all her adventures.
Her friends being eaten. Each week, a different one of her friends is eaten. She goes down there with 21 friends. And then we spend an entire season of TV, 22 episodes. Each episode, her friend dies, and then the final 22nd episode, she escapes.
Has Bruce always had, like, a Jamaican secretary?
Dana or whatever her name is? Oh, yeah.
He has? I never noticed that.
Hey, Bruce!
I was like, is this a new character? It seemed like new to me.
I love her.
I was surprised. It seemed kind of random. He's like, hey, get some $20 million. If I was a secretary and I was going to get $20 million in cash,
it's bullshit.
A little bit of that money would have disappeared by the time I handed it over to Bruce.
Well, here's the thing. First of all, that $20 million would never fit in the briefcase, okay? I know, all right? Okay, about $1 to $1.2 million fits in a briefcase.
How
okay?
much? How much?
$1 to $1.2 million, all right?
Not 20?
No, not 20. Dude, $2.4 million fits in a suitcase, man.
Are those?
I'm not gonna say how I know.
What type of bills are those?
$100 bills.
Don't they have $1,000 bills or something? Or
they used to way back in the day, but not now. Not anymore.
This is back in the day.
Yeah, but no.
Yeah, this is 20 years ago. 20.
No, I think they cycled out
ago.
They cycled out the large bills a long time ago.
Not for Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne comes in and says, I want my $20 million. He just broke that bank. He just goes in there, like, all the money that they have for capital. He's like, I want to take my money out of this account.
No one's pulling any money out of an ATM that day.
He's like, excuse me, I need my $20 million in cash.
Right
they just
now.
start crying. No, why?
they literally drain every cent out of that building, and they still don't have enough. Yeah, where did she get $20 million in cash in overnight? Like, this is like he woke up that morning and gave her that command, and she pulled it off. Oh, by the way, we're missing Hayden Sloan. Hayden Sloan character, voiced by LeVar Burton.
Oh, wow. Very cool.
He's another person that just got
Reading
busted
Rainbow.
for essentially almost losing $20 million. He's the fourth
Embezzlement.
person.
So Bruce Wayne doesn't get arrested by his...
He's white.
You went there.
Well, Hayden Sloan is not white, so that's why they arrested him.
Dang.
They're like, where'd
they
your money go?
basically did the same thing, right?
Where'd your money go, black guy, huh?
We're going to arrest you.
Rough him up. Like, it was not good. It was a racist time.
You think they arrested his secretary, Bruce's secretary?
Yeah, Bruce arrested his secretary. He dropped her off in front of the
police. He was like, I don't remember any of this. What'd you do?
Yeah, he's like, oh, it's all these black people. They're stealing our $20 million. But really, it's this other racist thing that they're doing with the show, the writers are actually doing, where they're portraying all Mexicans as Mayan. It's like, get over it. All Mexicans don't look like that, okay? I've been to Central America and South America. They don't look like Mayans down there, all right? They don't dress like that anymore. They dress in normal clothes.
It's the Mad Hatter at a costume. He's living in a costume shop, isn't he? He's just
is that why they're dressed that way?
Yeah,
I just thought the writers were incredibly racist.
It's probably a mix of both.
Like down there anymore. I've been down there. I
think it was like the one guy.
Shirts.
There's the shaman that dresses like the old school, and then the other people are just thugs that he put in costumes.
No, my favorite part is those hired goons that the Mad Hatter hired totally look like he's fucking flat out brainwashed hot Latin male models. Like they're like all Zoolander like style models. That's amazing.
Well, they have to have their shirt off.
They're topless within the best outfits. They're all made to perfection. They're all fucking chiseled. And then later, Mad Hatter even like just writes them off. Like he's bitching about them. He's like, "Oh, this one guy, yeah, he's actually like a real like local craftsman that I stole and somehow snuck back through U.S. Customs without any issue, which I know is not easy to fucking do."
No, I think he got those guys. Are you talking about the shaman that they took with him?
You cannot just easily get through customs anything you want.
I think he could say like, for religious stuff, if it's like a small amount.
They snuck a random dude without a passport through fucking customs.
For religious stuff.
But then the Mad Hatter immediately is just like, doesn't give a shit. He's like, "Oh yeah, but these guys, these hot Latin male models, they're actually riffraff from various street gangs, gutter trash."
And they started singing Aladdin, riffraff.
Street rat, I don't buy that. If only there'd be something for this poor boy. No siree.
Keep going.
That's how it goes.
Keep going.
I don't know any more of it.
Disappointment. I'm full of disappointment.
Hang on. 1 second. This is the last one for the road. Oh, Batman and Beyond!
Wait, what's going on? What's going on over there? Last one for the road. I thought this was a sober trip. That's just allergies? What was that? Right after a fucking line.
What?
Dude, like, you're gonna get a heart attack.
Woo-hoo! Now we're in Act 3, and it's very cool. I want to point out that in this season finale, if you will, we get every rogue from the Batman series. Well, not every rogue, but a lot of them from the Batman series.
The Mad Hatter
somehow makes an appearance in this final act.
He's a craft genius. That Mad Hatter.
He figured out a way to like bring the whole series to a close just for us. Yeah, just for the narrative. He is a crafty one. So he has the Penguin first, the first one, the first rogue to attack Batman. Then the Riddler comes in with a riddle, Steve. Here we go. One of those riddles. Woo! I got my music. Here we go. All right, Steve. How is Batman like a donut shop?
They both have holes in them?
They're both filled with holes.
But I thought I said that.
No, you didn't say that. You said something similar, but the actual thing is they're both filled with holes.
I never get things exactly right.
Well, after Riddler, we get Harley Quinn, and then we get Joker, and guess what? Joker finally kills Harley. Pseudo Joker kills pseudo Harley. And you know what? That's what domestic violence will bring. If left unchecked, you get terrible, terrible crimes like the smashing with a hammer of a husband to a wife.
Did you see Clayface in the background?
Yeah, so yeah, you have a couple more. You have Scarecrow, Two-Face, Clayface, Mr. Freeze, and Catwoman. And when I saw that, I actually thought of something about Mr. Freeze. Steve, out of all these villains, Mr. Freeze has only been in one episode all season.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else, we've gotten multiple episodes. Catwoman had like 3 or 4 episodes. Two-Face,
I read they were
4
planning on making a
episodes.
movie of Mr. Freeze.
They did do one.
And
Sub-Zero.
I think they were waiting to use him for that.
Well, it's interesting that they didn't use him anymore in this season. That they just used him once because he was one of the best episodes, and it was one of their daytime Emmys, if I'm not mistaken, right? Isn't that, or did we attribute it to that at least?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, so the Mad Hatter's been fully revealed, right? He's the villain, and Batman, knows, and he's like, haha, I actually tricked you, or whatever the fuck, who cares?
I like that the Mad Hatter, like, basically it's like, I got out of Arkham, and all I wanted to do was just retire, but I couldn't afford to buy an island. He's like, I just want to retire, go to an island, and live the rest of my days, but I can't afford to buy an island, so I'm just gonna go and rob the rich people one last time to buy my island. Yeah, I think that's pretty admirable.
If Batman wanted to, he could easily stop Mad Hatter from ever doing another crime by just simply being like, all right, here you go. Here's enough money for that.
I think he should have Batman should just buy an island and throw them all. Instead of Arkham, he should just drop them off in this deserted island.
And then maybe what'll happen is all these criminals will fuck on that island, right? And then they'll have beautiful babies, and it'll be just like Australia.
I think that it's a great idea. Well, I like at the very end that Batman basically gets captured, and they're going to use that guillotine on him.
Oh my god. I love that Batman stops the fucking guillotine with his feet. I mean, just 3 out of 5 boys right there.
It was pretty badass.
Seriously, I wish Mythbusters did that episode. Like, whoops! Looks like Adam cut off his head. Myth busted.
Is it possible? Can Batman stop a guillotine with his feet?
Yeah.
It was pretty badass. I was actually expecting that to be more like a cliffhanger, like how
up.
instead of it not being a cliffhanger.
What the fuck is that?
That's a cliffhanger moment.
Shut the fuck up, Steve. What the fuck? Oh fuck. Oh! It wasn't me. Go. It wasn't me.
Oh no.
It's not my baby. Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Police! Get off of me! He's not my baby!
Oh.
Get off of me! Get off of me! Get off of me! Put some handcuffs down here. Put your hand back, man. And you must be stupid. Don't call me stupid. Over there, little man. I'm big, man. Get off of me!
You okay there, buddy?
Knock him out. What is it? Cocaine. It's probably start. It's not my cocaine. In the old lady's knitting bag. Talk to my lawyer, Steve. He's on the phone. Steve, you gotta help me, man.
I'm not your lawyer.
He's my lawyer.
I want to make that very clear.
Steve's my lawyer. He's on the phone. Give me five. That is not my shotgun, sir. Literally, my lawyer is on the phone.
I'm not his lawyer. No, not me. Nope.
Lawyer's on the phone.
Nope, I'm not his lawyer.
Correction, that's a 20 gauge.
You got a handgun in your room here, sir? I see bullets.
I know nothing about that, sir.
Talk
Talk to my lawyer. Talk to my lawyer,
You
Steve.
get 2 guns at your room, 1 shotgun, sawed-off shotgun.
Not my shotgun.
You'll find a bottle of cocaine base rocks.
Not my base rocks.
You've been arrested before for cocaine, and you gonna tell me you don't know nothing about this.
Steve, what should I tell him?
Nope, I'm not his attorney. I'm not going to answer any questions for you.
Steve, I'm gonna tell him everything about me.
My one piece of advice is, Mike, don't say anything. Don't say anything.
Find a rock.
Keep your mouth
What kind
shut.
of guns
Don't
you
talk to
That
them.
makes sense,
You
sir.
were here. You tell me you stay in this room.
This is not my room, sir.
Maybe it's your mother's.
No, it's not my mother's either,
Is
sir.
that a possibility?
This is definitely not my mother's room either, sir. I promise to God.
Well, is it yours?
It's not mine, but just put it on me, sir.
Then why you want me to put it on you? When you deal cocaine, you should have thought of that. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, sir. Steve, you're my best friend and my lawyer. Help me.
I'm ashamed to be working with you.
My lawyer's my best friend.
I'm ashamed that I've been friends with you for so long.
Remember that for me.
What if you've become a monster? It's time for you to burn in hell.
Steve,
You've gone too far this time. I guess the only thing I can do is be a professional and just close this thing out without you. But, because I'm a goddamn professional. So, I guess it just ends with that little sort of coda that the Mad Hatter is now not having good sleep because he has a little worry man of Batman under his pillow. So it's a little sort of silly ending.
it's on my bag, man.
I think that's like a little bit of a Paul Dini's spin on it. This was a much more serious one. I've seen, I guess, other Paul Dini ones that I think have been a little bit more fun when it's been that combination of Bruce Timm and Paul Dini, at least.
What?
Be very, very careful.
So this one was more straightforward.
Okay.
So I would give it 3.5 out of 5 boys, because you know, it was good, but I don't think it definitely this one didn't have any sort of lasting memory for me. It wasn't one that I even really remembered when I was rewatching it. So there wasn't a lot of lasting impression, I guess, and just wasn't that interesting, in my humble opinion. But all right, this is weird because there's no one here, and I should just probably move on and get this credits going. Cool Boy, Bat Nation, be sure to let us Bat know what you've Bat thought of The Worryman, or what your favorite Bat episode is by Bat emailing us at batmanandbeyondcoolboys@gmail.com. New episodes come out every Tuesday. Also, please check out our other great Cool Boy Central content with the Cool Boys Podcast on iTunes, Soundcloud, Google Play, and Patreon. Be sure to like and subscribe to the Cool Boys Podcast and review us on iTunes. Also, donate to us on Patreon. It only costs $1 and you will receive special access to content too hot to air. You can find the Cool Boys on Patreon at www.patreon.com/coolboyspodcast. Thank you for listening. Stay cool, Cool Boy Bat Nation. Until Bat next time, it's Bat Pisces from Bat Steve. I'm the cool boy now.
So cool.
Batman
And beyond.
Oh yeah.
Batman
and beyond.